whole issue of what the Fed should do. We had your man on later in the program. He's going to come up, Ron Paul. He really bashed Mr. Bernanke big time today. But what do you think the Fed ought to do right this moment, Don?
Well, to the list of illustrious personages who understand what the Fed ought to do that Steve Forbes just recounted, I think you have to add Ron Paul. He's all over it. We need to abolish the central bank as a price-fixing mechanism that arbitrarily sets interest rates along the whole economy. If we need a lender of last resort to support the banking system, that's one thing.
What do we put in its place, Don?
What would you put in its place?
Yeah.
We didn't have the Fed before 1913, and everything was just fine.
What about those large...
We've had more volatility in our economy.
Yeah, we had deflationary
than
panics.
before it was
We had
created.
10, 15-year deflationary panics. We had an inelastic money supply. The only time new money was created during the Industrial Revolution when money was needed was when they found new gold someplace. Do we really want to go back to that?
Larry, I think we're missing
don't forget, the first gift to the United States economy that the Fed bestowed upon it after it was created was the Great Depression. So be careful what you wish for.
Well, you do have a point on that. There is no question the Fed's record is mixed. It's Minister Clown. This guy pipes up every few months, causes the world stock markets to fall 5% across the board, and then it turns out his own leadership diss him. One of these days they're going to do to this Chinese little financial guy what they did to the Chinese health guy. They're going to take him out and shoot him, because that's how they dealt with the health guy. I want to lose this segment before you have a chance to weigh in. I'm talking floating exchange rates, Don. I'm talking a domestic price rule, which I think is working. And I'm saying the problem with the currency imbalances now is because we're threatening to hike taxes, and they're threatening to cut taxes. In fact, Sarkozy told the Congress, if we don't fix the dollar, there's going to be a trade war. Go ahead, Don Luskin, weigh in. You can hit me right here and hit me right here on this side.
I'm sorry, I just don't agree. I think that the foreign exchange market is telling us the same thing that the oil market and the gold market is. It's forward-looking. It's discounting for inflation that is being caused by the Fed going on this liquidity orgy that's not going to show up in CPI and PCE for a long time. Those are slow, lagging, backward-looking indicators. But these spot markets see it right away, and they discount for it right away. That's what's so flawed about the analysis that Bernanke gave to Ron Paul in his congressional testimony today. He acts as though that the only inflation threat of a falling dollar is that it makes imports more expensive. No, the problem is that it's the world market judging that the dollar is going to be systematically debased by our own central bank.
What if the world market is just saying we are in a global spread of capitalist boom? The demand for commodities of all kinds is going up, and that's all there is to it.
We are, but that doesn't give the Fed the license to inflate. I mean, it would be a better capitalist world if the Fed didn't inflate. And by the way, I love that idea of taking that Chinese minister out and shooting him. Can we do that with some of the liberals who are on this show?
No. These are all my friends. We're not going to shoot anybody. We want them to come back. I do not agree with Mr. Paul's anti-war views. I do not agree with his foreign policy views. But on his monetary opinions, I want to give you the first whack because I found them very interesting.
They're fantastic. I mean, Larry, just step back and realize how amazing it is. We have not had a presidential candidate who talked about free markets, who talked about monetary reform, who talked about tax reform the way Ron Paul does since Steve Forbes ran for president. Bravo, bravissimo, go Ron Paul.
All right. Steve